2, 1. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Ricky Revamp, and here we are at Tab TV3 Revamp Barbershop. We're in the shop today, and today I have with me my boy, my guy, Chan, the man with a master plan, man. Everybody give a big shout out to Chan, the man. What's up, brother? How are you, man? How you feeling?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. This is awesome. Beautiful setup. For sure.
Listen, so we're going to jump right into it. We're going to go over some questions. Chan, the man, started with me. First of all, what's your IG? Let's plug in that right away. Let's get your IG. Make sure people follow you and your business so that we can keep supporting each other.
I am chan.made_. That's my Instagram and TikTok. And then I've got 1% Styles as my barbershop, and Myth Grooming is my grooming product line.
Come on, they're not ready for all of that, but they're going to find out today because we're going to make them ready. All right, so listen. So one of the things that I would like to talk about on this pod today is definitely going to be about, I want to talk about your journey as a barber from beginning to your first steps of becoming a barber. What school did you graduate from? So let's take it all the way back from the very beginning. What school, how did you, because for those of you that don't know, he actually used to be my client many, many moons ago. Right. So I've known Chandler before he even.
The modeling.
Right. Modeling. Right. You were doing modeling.
Dude, that was cool.
It was great. Great time. So where did that stem from? Where did it come from? What sparked the whole thing for you? And how did you end up going to barber school? Let's start with that.
Growing up, I really just went to your normal chain haircut spots, and
we're not going to say their name because we never know if they might sponsor.
Not name dropping at all, because there are so many different ones that, who
right
knows? But we can all imagine. And it wasn't really until I was 18, 19 years old where I actually went into a barbershop and had the opportunity to experience a true barber culture. As nerve-wracking as that was, not ever being never going to one or growing up in one. It's a whole different type of environment and community than your chain shops, we'll call them.
100%.
So experiencing that, I think, is what kind of opened up my eyes to like, oh wow, this is actually like a man's thing, and this is really cool. And
almost you felt normal, like, all right, this makes sense. This is what you're supposed to do.
It wasn't just the ideas of what I had for hairdressing and getting your hair done and everything.
Right.
And then as time kind of went on from that 18, 19 age into 20 was when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And I kind of started with a really, really broad idea of like, well, I just want to help people. That would be really cool.
Right.
Which is such a generic answer, but or like thought to start out with, but it really grew into realizing that there are so many different ways to go about that. I had to figure out what I really enjoyed.
Right.
I had a friend who actually graduated from Paul Mitchell, and she had suggested, after I had been venting about not knowing what to do.
Was college an option for you? Was that on the table for you?
Dude, I really tried. I gave it the old college try. It was just something where I felt so robotic, and it felt so uncomfortable. I took time off. I tried to go back. I couldn't do the I missed the deadline for signing up for classes, and it was just kind of like, oh well. Right.
That was almost kind of like your sign, like, all right, I guess this isn't for me then.
Exactly. And that was kind of what I was venting about. And she had suggested to check out Paul Mitchell because that was where she had just graduated from. It was right up my alley. She's like, oh, you'll fit in there. It's totally, your vibe. Like probably less than a month after she had mentioned that, they were having an open house. Nice. And I went in there and I was like, oh yeah, no, I want to like sign me up right now. I'm ready to do this. And that kind of progressed into telling everyone.
Paul Mitchell has its own culture. Like, it's like a dope culture. When you go there, it is very inspiring. Just the way I've worked at several different schools, including Paul Mitchell. And so to be a part of their system and how they do things, I think Paul Mitchell is probably one of the best.
The way that I describe it is if your idea of what a college experience would be, where you have different classes and you have different teachers and things like that, that is really how Paul Mitchell has set up their schools. It's systematic so that you have to move around. They keep you accountable for your time. You have to be in class, and Otherwise, there are repercussions, which
they've definitely got it figured out.
It's real life. It's real life, but it's also too, it's an experience that, I think kind of opens up the ideas of what experiences you can create. That's really where everything blossomed from with what I'm doing, was in the first 6 weeks of me being at Paul Mitchell.
Right.
That's when I originally created 1% Styles, and it was just an idea. But that school gave me the opportunity, as well as the structure, to actually kind of create something and develop
cultivate it.
Exactly.
That was like the first stomping ground of it all, where that's where because I know through their curriculum they almost make you like create a brand and create a barbershop and all of those things.
That was the our teacher, Miss Cynthia. Shout out to Miss Cynthia. She's awesome.
Shout out to Miss Cynthia.
She had said, hey, you need to brand yourself now. Like, if you're going to get into this, just go ahead and start tracking your journey. Show it to people. Don't be embarrassed. Like, you're starting out. Like, you have to show that, and you'll be grateful being able to go back.
I wonder why a lot of schools don't offer that. I feel like a lot of schools don't help you understand right away that this is not going to be a regular 9-to-5 thing. I mean, it can be, but when you go that route, it becomes very limited. If you decide to go the route that you're saying, as far as branding and just developing yourself as a brand, or how do you want to present yourself to people, it's a game changer when you go about it that way.
Yeah, I think coming into it as well, because I had struggled trying to figure out what I wanted to do for the time that I did. When I had figured this out, I was really locked onto it. So I came into it with that excitement and realizing the opportunity without fully realizing the opportunity, and ultimately making it such a fun thing for me that this is the direction, because I'm not going to college.
Right, you were locked in. This is what I'm doing, so I got to make this work. Period.
But it definitely, there's that fallout for sure does exist. No matter, I don't think it really matters the school. There's definitely, those things are going to happen, but I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to have awesome people who showed me so many different experiences that you can provide, as well as just being passionate themselves and kind of showing that through their teaching and work and all of that. So
for sure. So we go to Paul Mitchell, we kind of discover a whole lot. 1% Styles is kind of birthed there somewhat. Before we dive into what shop you went to and how you went about that, what does 1% Style mean? Because I know what it means. I know a little bit of backstory. So because I know it, you know what I mean? Like, but I want the world to know, where does that come from? Where, like, how did you birth that? Because it's a very cool, like, your slogan, your style of doing it. It's just dope. You know what I'm saying? So I want people to kind of dive in a little bit more as to far as, where did the logo come from? Where did the brand come from? How did you develop all of that?
So growing up, as if you are on camera or anything or watching the video, you can see I am ginger. So growing up, redheaded.
Wait a minute.
But no, you're growing up ginger, it was definitely something that it was very obvious that I was not outcast, but I definitely stood out. You could point me out in any crowd. Growing up in school and everything, it was just one of 3 people that had these features. Sure. So it was something that I really did struggle with. That it was an insecurity that I would deal with by making sure that I would looked my best and always try to have my hair styled, always try to look presentable, so that way I didn't feel the full amount of insecurity. And then also growing up in the era of South Park, gingers have no souls. That was a whole joke that happened to me, like that opened up in middle school for me. So that was a
wow. So
ruthless kids or like, it's the most ruthless in middle school. So it was definitely something where those jokes started coming at me, but I didn't pick up on it. Like, I didn't get the joke because I didn't watch the show. And I'm like, yeah, oh, that's funny. Like, sure, whatever. And I laughed with it, and it kind of just let it, it rolled off my shoulders, and they didn't think it was fun anymore, so they stopped. But it got me into the
so not knowing worked for you though.
It truly did. It really came to my advantage.
Because you didn't give it no time, so you didn't care. Like, well.
And then when I finally watched it, I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was so funny, dude. I thought it was.
I love that you thought that was funny.
Yeah, honestly, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, this is so us.
Makes sense.
You know, yeah, this is my episode, dude. They did it for us, man. Look at that.
That's so funny. That's good stuff.
But you know, growing up through that, and then kind of coming into the hair industry, realizing like, you know, everyone's like, oh, dude, your hair color is so awesome, blah blah blah. You know, it is definitely something I would get gassed up over. That I think you know, I really came to understand that I was, you know, being different gave me this opportunity to be rare and have the chance to stand out and be someone who can stand out in a group or a crowd. And
this is gonna turn into a reel, right? Everybody is okay with being a copy. So to understand this is big, guys. Like, he's basically letting you guys know that he embraced him being different. Right? Like, he didn't see it. Like, yes, he understood it was a challenge for some.
Well, it wasn't even that I was different. It was that it was me. I just embraced me. I came to understand that, like, dude, your hair is going to keep growing this color, bro. Like, it's just, you know, these are things that, you know, can actually benefit you now. Now that, especially as you're getting older.
You just used it so, like, in such a positive way. And I think a lot of people tend to not do that, right? We tend to, like, use our insecurity as something to really break us down, when in reality, that's what makes us unique.
It is one. These are the factors that separate us from being so. I mean, there are so many commonalities amongst us that I think that being able to recognize that feature about you that is just naturally you and makes you yourself is what it should be chased after and brought out more in the person. And that's really what 1% Styles was. Is you know, redheads, gingers are 1% of the population. So I realized, well, that is rare. That is a rare opportunity to be such a small portion of such a large group, and in
this world.
And that rarity is what I wanted to bring out in each person that sat in my chair. I wanted each person to feel that cool, like they felt cool. They felt able. I want men to be able to look at themselves in the mirror and like what they see. I want them to be able to look and feel confident and have that opportunity to actually be happy with the man that they are, the person that they are when they look at themselves in the mirror. And I had the opportunity to go and work with.
Formulated my escape is wild.
you know.
But I love it.
I wasn't present for the time. I just know that the story goes.
Right.
But no, I had the opportunity to actually come and work for Ricky at Revamp at UCF.
Right.
And that was, you know, crucial stepping stone to everything. UCF was cool because I went from Floyd's, which is a commission shop.
Right.
Well, hourly
/ commission. Right.
But you know, it was a similar style going into UCF because you had to have it structured the way that you did, where it was still commission.
Right.
But I had that freedom. I had the freedom of time, and I could, you know, actually have a clientele, and I could have people who wanted to come sit with me specifically. And that was something that I didn't get to experience as much previously. And that gave me the opportunity to feel like, wow, I'm a barber. Look at that. I got a client. I have people who depend on me.
Right. And that wait for me.
Yeah.
That call me, that want to get a haircut by me.
And want it, or set up a schedule, or while still being able to have the security of not screwing up my finances and not messing up to a point where I get, you know, I don't have rent or something like that. It gave me that wiggle room because I was still young. I mean, I graduated at 21, so I'm 22, maybe almost 23 at UCF. So, you know, it was still a lot of money to me coming in, and I was definitely not smart with it. It was being a young dumb kid, which I don't have any regrets of.
Yeah, that's normal though.
Yeah, I got it out of my system, truthfully, but it was something where that it was also UCF gave me that that time and that environment to kind of be able to, you know, talk with the kids my age and make a clientele of
talk to me. How was that? How did you develop that? What the risk of it? Because I know that can be scary for a lot of us. I've gone through it a couple times. I know what that feels like. The fear of saying, man, is this gonna work? Is this the best idea? You know, you start second guessing everything, and then you, at the same time, the same you is also saying, man, bump this, man. We gotta do it. It's now or never.
Yeah.
So how was that process for you? How was that change and transition for you?
So this is, coming to the end of 2019.
COVID time, baby.
This was when, I'm still at UCF. We're bumping that year. I was really adamant on asking you about, dude, I want to manage the shop. Like I want to be, we'll figure something out where whatever, we were going to work something out. And I was really set on that. Right. And then January came and I could not shake the feeling I'm going to open up a shop this year. Like this is a year, like crazy. And stuff, it kind of started unfolding with the pandemic, but it wasn't enough for me to like think that it was going to be anything crazy.
Right.
And I remember we went outside in the breezeway, we sat down at the picnic table.
Right.
And I told you straight up, like, dude, this is what I think is going to happen. I didn't mean to waste your time, but like, thank you for the, opportunity to grow into that.
But it's a season.
And you were so supportive of it. It was really cool because I was terrified, not terrified to tell you of my growth or the, what I was thinking, but I think more of potentially disrespecting you or, building up this whole thing of how bad I wanted it.
Right.
And you were so
and
understanding
also,
and patient.
Your previous situation was kind of very like, oh, well, you got to go, I don't want to get into too many details with that, but
it was quick. It was
very dismissive. So like, I think a lot of owners tend to react that way too. Like kind of just, okay, well, you could just leave now.
And
you know what I mean?
These are things that, among so many prior, just the example that you were setting as a leader.
Right.
I don't even know if it was as intentional of like, hey, this is how I'm going to, it was right off rip. Like we were sitting down in person. You didn't hesitate to show that support. And I think that was a huge thing for me. In letting the idea kind of develop and flourish. And then March comes around and they're like, yeah, we're shutting down, guys. UCF's going to close. We're not going to be, so no one's going to be on campus to get haircuts. You guys are going to have to close down. April, it was party time and it was a good time.
Tons of fun.
But then I wasn't cutting hair, so I wasn't making money. So party time turned into, oh, well, I got to make some money.
Wait a minute. Yeah.
And I wasn't partying. I was in my house. But it definitely was, I don't know how proper this is supposed to be. Like, I was definitely going to the underground after parties out in the, like
COVID parties were sick.
You had to have this code to get in. Otherwise it was definitely,
you had to be in a specific group chat.
For sure busted it down at 4 a.m. No, but
these are stories. I don't know about this stuff. I mean, I never went.
All make believe. It's just a fluff. You hit the sound but and then it kind of I wanted to buckle down and I was like, well, dude, I mean, let's see if I can figure something out. I started doing house calls and one of my house call clients was like, dude, just figure out a business plan and let's see what we can work out. And one thing led to another where I
love how those conversations tend to happen so organically.
Well, he's the kind of guy like this guy that I'm cutting. That's originally pitching the idea to me is just like he is one of those people who will just literally like oh well, let me figure out how to do it. Okay, now I'm gonna go do it.
Right.
So in his mind, he wasn't even saying it like to like hype me up or whatever. He was really just like saying it like plainly, like, yeah, dude, just figure out a business plan and do it. Like just go. And
just do it like Nike.
Yeah, just do it.
Just do it.
And I was, pretty adamant on figuring it out because I knew that I wanted a smaller space. I had a general idea, but again, back to Paul Mitchell, the process of figuring out that was the first step was location. Right. You needed to be in an environment in a spot that was accessible, that had good parking, that, had the ability to bring people to you and be in a good spot for them.
Right. I love that.
So, as I'm searching, things are starting to happen and then falling through and then starting to happen. And I just woke up on a Sunday morning, 2 minutes on Craigslist. I shit you not. It was 2 minutes on Craigslist. I found a spot for rent. They were having an open house that day. No one else showed up to the open house. A week later, I signed the lease at a super crazy rent rate because of the situation, the pandemic and everything going on that provided me with, a really, really good deal. And that is kind of what opened up the door for me to make it work. I didn't know exactly how I was going to make it work, but in my head, I knew, okay, I'm going to do this, and I will just work.
You got to risk it for the biscuit, man.
Dude, I straight up, I had a 24-hour book for the first 6 to 8 months of me being open. I was like, dude, you can book at 3 a.m. You got to let me know. Don't book at 2 a.m., 4 at 3 a.m.
Because I'll be,
common sense over here. But it was something where I would have been willing to go in at whatever time was necessary to make it happen, because I realized, dude, this can be mine. This is mine. Right. And it has happened so fast. This is, I graduated 2017, licensed 2018. Here we are, beginning of 2020, almost halfway through, and I'm opening up a shop. So in my head, this isn't supposed to happen. This wasn't supposed to, the timing of it was way beyond anything that, was the standard to me. And I just didn't want to lose it. However, there was the other side of me opening a business during the pandemic that was a barbershop, where if I did fail in my first year, my logic was like, well, people are going to be like, why'd you open a business in pandemic? Like, you're an idiot, bro. And I'm like, yeah, dude. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's stupid me. I did that on purpose. I could fail and get away with it. Right, but at least I tried.
Right. It would like reason with a lot of people.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
It's so crazy how we care sometimes about that. And like, I just love it that we've gotten away from that. The reality is that you got to risk it. You got to do it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the biggest challenges I think we all face as barbers, as entrepreneurs, or just being a person, right? Like you got to do it for you. You know what I'm saying? If I tell this to my guys all the time too, I think I've shared this with you before, you got to be willing to look crazy for your business, because nobody else is going to.
Yep.
So if it's your business and you want it to succeed, you have to be willing to look crazy for it. And who cares of what other people think about how crazy you look or crazy you don't look, or look at this guy posting about his little business again. That's okay. I'm that little guy now posting about my business now, and in a couple of years from now, we'll see 3 to 4, 5, 10 locations.
See, I also too, like I never really experienced like doubt. I feel like there's so much support behind what I was doing.
That's true.
For so, like, no matter, like, not even to like, I don't know, blow my own horn or whatever the saying is, but like it was something where like I would tell someone like, yeah, this is what I want to do, and they're like, oh, dude, you can so do that.
That's dope.
No one would put me down. So it was something where
it's good people, man. You have good people.
Good people, but it created an almost like a responsibility or obligation to these people who showed me support. Like, yo, I don't want to let them down.
Right.
They can believe in me, and like, dude, I wasn't even doing much yet.
Right.
So it was a cool aspect of having the support system that when I needed it, and then being able to recognize that, hey, this is something that I want to do to support myself, so I got to make it myself.
For sure. Quick question. So now we've opened up a barbershop. We've done this. We're here now. Also, you have a product line that you have as well. All right, so we had to take a little break because my guy had to get his products to make sure that we're able to talk about them, and you guys could see them on their plot. I said product. Product placement is everything. Let's go. Talk to him.
So really, 1% Styles was created to help men in that were local, that were right in front of me, understand and develop themselves and develop their style, develop their look. Right. I wanted to help them unlock their character. That was the main thing about cutting hair for me, was unlocking characters. But I realized that my reach was really only to the individual that was in my chair. Like, I mean, Instagram, social media, it is cool, it is impactful, but I'm talking about the in-person, one-on-one barber-client relationship. Like, those things can't be transferred online. That is just something that is special and unique. So I wanted to create something to be able to get more of my intention of helping men unlock themselves.
A greater reach.
I wanted to get out there beyond what was just in my local area.
For sure.
And that's where Myth Grooming came to be. I had a client who...
So dope.
Honestly, it's been an awesome journey. I had a client who actually was already in the product business. He had his own product line, super awesome products he would share with me. And I had just mentioned to him if he could maybe make me a cream for the shop, like one jar kind of thing. And literally, I think it was 7 days. He's like, oh, hey, I got your jar. And I'm like, whoa,
sick.
That was fast,
Right.
dude. And then I
So I had
started
it in the
using
microwave.
it.
No,
Well, I'm using it, and I'm like, holy shit, dude, this is awesome stuff. So
Right.
I let Jake use it, and you know, Jake, when he tries a product, he'll tell you, yeah, yay or nay. He's big on that. So he started using it. He's like, no, dude, this is awesome. And that kind of progressed into me talking to him more about, hey, you know,
right,
how can we go about maybe making this available? And then he started presenting more ideas of like, hey, I can do this.
Right.
To the point now where I've got these 3 products developed
right,
for men to use as a foundational product line.
I love that.
I think that men using products was stigmatized. I think that it was given a negative impression or a inferior impression to the individual who was taking care of himself, even as basic as it may have been.
Some dudes feel uncomfortable with that stuff.
Mad uncomfortable. And it's something where I'm like, dude, it's not even like, it's like the water is going to make your skin feel this way.
Right.
So like just to counterbalance what's in the water, like use this. It wasn't anything of like, it wasn't so vain. It's not meant to be like ego and full of yourself. It is something where it's just, you have to feel comfortable.
Right.
There are things that you do better when you are comfortable in your own skin.
100%.
As well as when you can reflect a healthier version of yourself, people are going to be more attracted to that, not in the just physical way, but to be drawn to conversation, to not be distracted by something that's on your face or the imperfections that maybe occur without you using some products.
Right.
So I wanted to break through that mold and break that stigma for men to use products. I wanted them to be easy, accessible, and just good, clean products. And to be completely real, I wanted these products to be the products that girlfriends steal from guys. So they are very like neutral based. They're not like scented one way or the other. They're just meant to be clean, fresh, and not feel heavy. That was the big thing for me, was the lightweightness and making it something where guys feel comfortable using it.
And that matters. Like, not to cut you off, but that really matters because especially for dudes, sometimes we get a lot of buildup on like products or just
we
because
don't wear makeup. Dude. We don't wear, so we don't have an extra layer on top
protecting,
of our,
for sure.
You got a thick, moisturizer or something sitting on your skin. It's 100%. Like sunscreen, you just feel it until it's gone. And I didn't want that because I knew that would turn people away. And, on top of being in Florida, you already feel hot. It's just going to add to it. So I really try to make it efficient for men to use and not have the problems that push men away.
That's dope.
So ultimately, this is foundational. I don't want to expand beyond for this product line. I do not want to expand past this because this is really, in my opinion, all you need.
Right.
You need hydration. You need nutrients in your hair, nutrients in your skin. And it's simple. It's easy to use. And yeah.
I love
You're going to get it on mythgrooming.com.
We'll put the website link here.
Maybe we'll do a Tab TV.
Right. Tab
TV discount code.
Ooh, 10% off. Let's do it. Let's run it up. Also, big shout out to Jake, man. My guy Jake, man, has definitely been rocking
Jake, I love you.
Yeah, we love you, bro. You've definitely been rocking with Chan the Man for sure for a minute. Much success to you and just proud of who you are becoming and who you've become, man. It's just great to see as well. Just wanted to plug in that quick shout out, bro. Got nothing but love for you.
Got to plug in Jake.
Yeah, had to do that one.
Honestly, couldn't really quick. If you can ever find someone who is down to just ride and support you and, is okay with, okay, Chan, that's crazy, but let's try it.
Do
you
it,
go
right?
for it.
Yeah.
Dude, you stick with that person.
100%.
That is a
Those
key.
are real riders. There's so much more.
Yeah.
Good people. But we are running out of time today, but I do appreciate you coming out. We'll definitely have you back on the show, man, and we'll definitely run this back. Maybe for the next one, I'll bring you guys with me as we attempted to. So maybe we could do it on the next one.
On the road, Tab TV 3, on the road.
On the road, bring you, go so that you guys can come with me and go see Chan's shop and the setup and how he's created a sanctuary for men, man, to be honest with you. It's a dope vibe. It's a great atmosphere. As soon as you walk in, you feel more creative. You feel more in tuned. You just have a better vibe, man. And that's a great experience. One thing that we didn't get to talk about, but maybe for the next episode, we'll definitely clock into that, would be that, how he's not faking it. You know what I'm saying? What he perceives online is actually happening in his barbershop as well, in his space, with his brand. Like, he's legitimately sticking to everything he's talking about and how it all intertwines together. It all presents the same genuineness, the same cleanliness. I almost want to say that just the whole thing, that it comes together very beautifully. So I would love to bring you guys on the next one so you guys could check that out. All right. So once again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for tuning in to Tab TV3. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe for more. You already know. Let's go.